GM, welcome to another edition of RadiantsAF. Today, we are speaking to Hagos, the founder of one of the most disruptive markets, I think, that will soon to be taking over. And this is a big thing that I'm going to say. Probably going to be taking over any market that is a type of creator market of some sort, right? So I'd like for you to all say hi to Hagos. We're talking about Panta Markets. If you have not heard about it, stay tuned because we have got a lot to unpack. Hagos, how are you doing today? You well?
Good. Hi, mspope. I'm doing great. Excited to be on here, talk about Panta Markets and everything fun. So, looking forward to this.
Likewise, I am definitely looking forward to this. I have been for quite some time, especially when I reached out to your team to obviously have this podcast. What I did find quite interesting is how you do not want to be associated with prediction markets, so to speak. Like it mustn't be. I remember there was and I stand to be corrected, but there was a super team earn type of thing that you guys were
hmm
doing, and it was very specific that you did not want to be known as like a betting market or anything like that. Let's delve into firstly what is Panta Markets.
So, Panta Market is a prediction market in a way, but we just don't want to be quote unquote maybe boxed into the traditional prediction market. So that's why we passing on that message, right? But we are a
Yeah.
prediction market, but underneath we are really an infrastructure for people to make money. We're very creator centric, and we're a prediction market where anyone can create a market and anyone can trade, which is kind of like unlike the other existing prediction markets out there right now. So you can create markets, share it with your community, promote it with your community, and make some money as a creator. So we're a creator economy, sort of like maybe the YouTube or the TikTok of prediction markets in that way, where we push creators to do their own thing, make your own money, and just create markets and have a good time on Panta.
Very interesting. I think obviously the next thing would be how exactly does Panta Markets work? For those
Interesting.
who don't know.
No, so again, Panta Market is just an infrastructure, right? Panta Market easy, right? You can go in as two things, right? Either as a creator or as a trader, or both. You can be a creator and a trader. But as a creator, right, you can create a market on anything. Say the Premier League starts this weekend, right? You know, Man United
Yes.
versus Hull City. If you like
Not this
football,
weekend, tomorrow.
tomorrow, exactly.
Tomorrow.
Arsenal plays tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's
you
my
can be an
team.
Arsenal. Oh, you love Arsenal? Oh
I love them.
man. So I'm a Man United fan. So let's try to
Okay.
get along. Yeah, even though I don't like Arsenal, but I think we'll get along. But yeah, as a creator, you can get on Panta using football as an example, right? And say, will Man United beat Hull City on Sunday, right? By 2 goals. There's actually a market on Panta right now. So you create that market and you promote it to your community on Twitter, Telegram, WhatsApp, or whatever community you have, right? And then people can go trade on these markets, right? So when you create a market, the market opens up at a certain price, right? zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.5, which is zero point 0.5 USDC, 0.5 USDC. And this kind of like signals the probabilities, right, for either yes or no happening, either Man United win or a Hull City win, right? And then from then
Yes.
on, people can then buy shares into this market, right? If I believe United is going to win, I buy a yes share, you buy a no share because you don't like Man United, right? So the more yes shares that are bought by people, the price of yes goes up. The more no's that are bought, the price goes up. So prices move dynamically, right? And the interesting thing about Panther is that we're not like other prediction markets where if you win, if the event happens that you bought a share on, say Man United wins, and then you get paid $1. There's no fixed payment amount on Panta. It could either be $1 or less, or $20 or $100. And it's a unique trading system where it's a pari-mutuel payout. Everyone that buys into that market, they sort of contribute to a liquidity pot. At the end of the market, the winners share everything in the pot and the losers go home with nothing. So that pot determines how much you earn per share when the market is over. So Yeah, in a nutshell, that's for a creator and a trader on Panta.
I love it. I think it's very um it's very interesting how you've packed that together, because normally, obviously, if anybody has been trading on any type of markets, um like for instance, I suppose, what's the other market again?
Should I mention them?
Yeah, no, no, the big one, the big
The
one.
big, the poly market in Kawashi,
It's
yeah,
yeah, and Panta
yeah,
Markets,
and
yeah.
poly market, yeah.
Um, if you look at those, I mean, obviously these are markets that have been created already for you. So I like the twist on it, and I like the fact that people are a little bit more invested because now it's their sort of market that they've created, which I find is quite ingenious of you guys. Very very lovely. I think that it changes the dynamic of a lot of people who maybe might have been using these other markets and would like to try maybe something that they haven't seen. I know that, people can be scrolling and looking through the different categories, right? If they
Yep.
don't necessarily find the type of market that they want to bet on, or rather invest on, um, because this is not financial advice, and
Yeah, it's
so
not.
please do your own due diligence, as we like to say on the show. But yeah, it's very interesting. I like the idea of it, and I think what you've done is you've completely sort of like you've changed the game in a way. How did that come about? The idea of it.
So, thank you for the kind words, by the way. I really, really appreciate it because a lot of thinking and work has gone into Panta. So, really appreciate the
Yeah,
feedback and the validation. But for us, a couple of things, right? The big players, Pull Market and Kalshi, they're out there, and you're
yeah,
very global centric, right? There's the popular global stuff. You're talking about American politics, American
yeah,
economy, UK politics and stuff like that. But for us, we started thinking like localized markets are not represented on the global stage. And what I mean by
true.
localized markets is like, from country to country, right? It could be Kenya, it could be Nigeria, it could be Brazil, Turkey, right? You're not going to find what's going on in Lagos, Nigeria on Polymarket account, hardly, right? And for us, who best to create those markets than people living in Nairobi or Cape Town or Lagos or Istanbul, right? So you have to give power to the people to create the markets that apply to them. Is this road going to be fixed, or is it going to rain tomorrow, or is something going to happen, right? And people don't have access to that currently, and that kind of like put us out to saying, how can we solve this, right? How can we make this thing more available to people? That's one. Two, on the
Yeah,
other hand, also, give people a chance to make money from a creator perspective, not just giving them the power or the ability to create these markets, but they also can make money from being creators, right? In a way, it then becomes a self-fulfilling loop where you can create a localized market, your community trades in these markets, and then everyone makes money and is happy. So there's
yeah,
that. There's also the part, just to add to it, we also have something called Panta Intelligence, right? And I can expand on it later on. But there's also where we collect localized intelligence, right? With these markets. If you go on Panta right now, there's again Panta Intelligence. It tells you why a market is moving in a certain way. If it's a stock price market, what's driving the stock price of this in the real world, and how's that
yeah.
affecting the movement on Panta itself? So in that way, we can also collect localized intelligence for these communities in different countries, and everyone is happy in it. You make money, and you get data and insights, and we're all satisfied.
Satisfaction is definitely where we want to be, right? Something like this. I mean, I know a lot of people who like to bet, and whether it's just on a sports game, if it's on politics, if it's gonna rain next week Tuesday type of thing. It's weird. People just love doing things like that. And I think it's like I had mentioned before. It's an interesting narrative. I really do like it. Um, I suppose I would like for you to more or less give me an idea of the differences between your use between primary and peer-to-peer secondary markets.
All right, all right. That's a really good question. I was hoping you asked that because for us, the way we structure our trading system is very deliberate, right? And again, you
Yeah,
have different systems and pressure markets as a whole, and they're also tied to how you build liquidity and how you pay out. This is very, very important, right? So, and there are different liquidity systems, right? There's a automated market maker, there's an order book system, and these ways have different I guess techniques of building up liquidity in the market. But for us, right, since we're going the creator way, the permissionless way, as we like to say, we had to figure out a way to how we're going to build liquidity in these markets and how we're going to pay out people that
yeah,
win in the market. Yeah, so we came up with
yeah.
the system of there's a primary market phase and a secondary market. Secondary is the P2P. So what the primary
Mm.
market does is that once the market opens, the first stage is a primary market, and you can only buy shares. It's only for acquisition. So you buy all your yeses or your nos. You can't sell, right? So that phase is for a natural price discovery of yes and no. It starts at zero point 0.5, like I said, zero point 0.5 and no and yes. And then as you start buying on both sides, prices sort of like move dynamically. And then we build liquidity in that pot for that market in the primary phase. And the primary phase always has a time period depending on how far out the event is, the real world event is, and when it's ending. So for example, the game on Sunday, right? You probably have a primary phase from now, if we created that market, till maybe Saturday night or something like that. So the chance for people to buy shares in the market. So after the primary phase, time has elapsed, the liquidity is built. Literally, it could be $1,000, $2,000, whatever amount is in that pot that everyone has bought. Then it moves on to the peer to peer. In the peer to peer stage, there's no new minting of shares. Now it's all about whoever has bought shares in the primary market phase can sell their shares. Right. So it's now I own yes shares, and maybe Bruno Fernandez scores a goal during the game. Now more people want yes shares. So I sell my yes shares. I can sell it at any price, by the way, depending on what the payout is. Yeah. So at the end of the primary phase, the payouts per shares is calculated, right? We look at the total amount in the pot. We look at how many shares are on the yes side. So we divide that and say, okay, this is how much we paid per yes share. So it could be maybe $10 per yes share based on how that market has played out. So if I know the payout for yes is $10, in the peer-to-peer stage, I can list out my shares on the order book for $8, right? And someone will know that if they buy it for $8, they can make a profit of $2 when the event ends. So you see how it goes from primary is just acquisition, build up liquidity, and build up value. And then the secondary stage is for like peer to peer. I can sell my shares for a profit. I can hold it till the event ends, and everything just happens in the secondary P2P order book, and there's just free trading like that. So that's the system we use to build up liquidity and then exchange value between shareholders, if I can use that term. Okay, so I can't hear you. I can't hear you right now. I think something might be up with the audio, your audio. Can you hear me? But I can't hear you.
Sorry, I think I pressed this thing. It's quite sensitive
I can
on
hear
my
you now.
mic.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it mutes. It's weird, but I find it quite interesting. I really do. I love the dynamic. I love the way it's a playful way of getting people engaged, right? I did not know that you can actually sell before, like the end of your bet or
Yep.
whatever it is. Like that
You
that is
can.
that is super cool. And especially if like you have a hot market, right? As you mentioned, let's not say Bruno Fernandez, but I mean, I don't know, let's say maybe Gyökeres scored
Yeah.
a brace or something, and then you have to sell it. And then it's like, okay, now that you're selling it, somebody could buy it, but they could also lose money because if he scored a hat trick instead of a brace, then you don't get your money,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly. So it depends on what happens. It's a
Yeah.
movie market. You just have to make your choice and live with the risks of your choice of Saka or Gyökeres not scoring or
Okay. Very interesting. I also want to know about the creator royalties. As I understand, creators who do create markets also earn royalties.
Yep,
Let's talk
yep.
about that.
Yeah, that's a very huge part of what we do, right? As a creator, we
Yeah.
want you to be able to earn from the markets you've created, especially if you push these markets right to your communities and and your family, your friends, and Twitter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So for us, we wanted a way to reward creators, right? Because then again, they're doing a great job. So the creator
Yeah.
royalty is this. Right. Remember, I talked about building liquidity in the primary phase, right? So if you
Yes.
create a market and your primary phase builds liquidity, whatever amount is in there, you get 20% of the liquidity in the markets. No caps, no
Yeah.
limits to how many markets you can create. So if you create a market and there's $1,000 in the pot, you get $200. If there's hundreds in the pot, you get $20 or whatever, right? So if you have $1 million in the pot, you do the math. You can make a lot of money as a creator. Just that it's an infrastructure for you to create, and then we'll leave it up to you. Go get people to trade in your markets. We encourage markets that you know stimulate interest, attention. They have jeopardy, right?
Mm.
The Premier League is very, very attention grabbing. There's politics, there's your local stuff,
At the
whatever it is
moment.
you think, yeah, can get attention and liquidity
Yeah.
and money, you do it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then when we talk about how people can trade, obviously you are native to Solana. Um, there is a whole section of USDC and Solana that one can use. What is the role of that, of both?
Okay,
Using,
so
well,
yeah,
stablecoin and
and so yeah. Okay, can you still hear me?
yeah,
Okay, perfect. So when we first started, the quote unquote first Panta, obviously we built on Solana, so that's underlying blockchain. But
yeah,
we all the trading, all the activity on Panta was on Sol, which is the traditional Solana currency, right? But for
yeah,
us, Sol, and this came from a lot of feedback from people, right? Again, I like to say we're very agile, where we take a lot of feedback from the community and then make changes as needed,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we moved from Sol to USDC because again, people wanted something more stable, right? The price of Sol could go up, could go down compared to the dollar. So, but if you trade on stables, you know that your $1 is your $1. If you win, it's gonna stay at $1, even if it's the market ends next month or whatever, right? So that was one. Two is a lot of
mhm,
people traditionally are exposed to stables a lot more.
yeah,
So we wanted to remove that friction and just move straight to trading on Panta with USDC. So right now we're on Solana, but everything is done with USDC on Solana. And not just that, we also have a bridge feature on Panta where, let's just say, you don't have, you also have an EVM wallet, right? And you have,
yeah,
Ethereum, whatever it is, right? Or on another blockchain. You can bridge that onto Panta and just have it on your Panta wallet and have a USDC and do all your trading on Panta. And we just wanted to make life easier for everyone.
very interesting. Let's talk about your AI resolution agent and obviously how you're able to resolve conflict. Let's get into the type of conflict that you would have on such a platform and why you would need a resolution agent.
Ooh, this is a very good question. So, in the prediction market, right, there are a few important things. I've touched on two of them: liquidity and payouts. Another very important part is resolution. You have to get this right because a lot of money, a lot of people, you're involved, and you need to be able to resolve markets in the right way. So we looked
Yeah,
at a few different ways, and just because of the consideration for scale, when you start dealing with thousands of markets and people creating these markets, we wanted something that could handle all of this and be, again, agile enough to do what it's meant to do. So that's why I went to the AI agent system, right? But how it
yeah,
works is that, when you create a market, you put in a resolution rule. Our AI agent searches through the sources of truth that you've put in as a creator, right? But not just that, it searches through the whole world wide web, if you can put it that way, the whole internet, to look for the official result or official happening that you said was going to happen in that market, right? And then it
yeah,
comes back and gives an answer, either yes or no. Now there's some edge cases, right, where it might not get it in the way that it was supposed to get it, because again, people are creating these markets. I'll give you an example. During the World Cup, right, you have a game a knockout game that go into extra time, and someone creates the
Yeah.
market and they end the market at 90 minutes. They forgot that it could go into extra time, so it's like 30 minutes more, and then something that happens in 30 minutes more, and that wasn't covered by the creator. But then again, it happened and it falls on that rule. Maybe the market said Messi to score a goal, right? And Messi doesn't score in 90 minutes, but he scores in the extra time. But the market said Messi score a goal in this game, and it's ended in 90 minutes. So these are like edge cases that we faced. So
Yeah.
to sort of like help with that, we have a dispute window. Right. So once our
Yeah.
AI agent runs the answer, either yes or no, right, you don't get payouts immediately. A dispute window is opened up for an hour where anyone that traded in that market can log in a dispute and say, hey, this was wrong, this is not the right answer, or this is not what the registration rule said. And then we take that dispute and the reason, and we have an independent Panta investigation team that actually goes to look at the question, the registration rule, what really happened in reality, right, and puts that all together and then comes back with an answer, either retracing what the AI agent said or coming out with a different answer. But regardless, we have that dispute system where the first answer is not final, but then we go in and do some extra work and then we can get it right. But yeah, with leaving stuff to people to create, there's a lot of positivity to it, but there's also chances that we fall into some edge cases, and that's how we figured out to solve it for now.
That is quite interesting. So if let's say for instance, if we had to do an election, right? Um, you in whatever country are thinking that okay, let's do this one. Most controversial thing that could happen like in the next year or two is that Donald Trump gets elected for the third year running, which by law is actually not meant to happen, right? So let's
Hmm.
say for something like that, you create a market, you say that Donald Trump will be, I don't know, president for a third year running. And how do you don't fact check that, right? Because it's not something that you can find on the internet. Maybe you can look at probabilities, but that's not something that you can kind of like see or mitigate. I do understand where you're coming from with that specific part of the dispute, but would disputes more or less come from, let's say, you have a dispute to say that you fixed the actual um market that you created. Is that what the AI agent is meant to sort of focus on? Is that like one of the things that they meant to focus on?
When you say fix the market, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Okay, like
Yeah.
let's say for instance, we'll take a meme coin, right?
Hmm.
That a certain meme coin by 12 o'clock tomorrow is going to hit, I don't know,
Maybe
let's
a
say
million
a hu-
dollars. Yeah.
let's say, yeah, let's say $1 million, right? Um, you right now are taking the bet to say no because you really don't think so. It's sitting at like $25,000, right?
Hmm.
And what happens is all of a sudden people market make and it hits that $1 million, right?
Hmm.
In that case, is that something that one can dispute and basically say, well, that, it's unfair because they were, they actually fixed the market?
Did the coin hit $1 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, which is what the market said, right? But just
Yeah.
joking. So if you look, if you look at our how it works documentation, right, and our terms of service, right? So there's certain types of markets or things that we frown against, and we have the right to say, this is against the law, this is against our rules, right? So
Yeah.
manipulating the markets, insider trading, anything that's not legal, promoting self-harm, all these things, right? So we do have a team that watches for all these type of cases, and we take
Okay.
action. We will take action for
Yeah.
anything of the sort. Yeah, so definitely.
That's really great because yeah, I can just imagine lawsuits flying all over the place because people lost a lot of
Exactly.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we talk about prediction markets and we talk about how people are able to become almost like human, like real-time human intelligence, how is that even possible? Can one become a source of that?
Yes, actually, and that's one of our biggest, I guess, biggest things we're building towards, right? Again, I mentioned Panta Intelligence. That's just the start. It's just scratching the surface of
Yeah,
where we want to be. So there's
yeah.
something that people say, put your money where your mouth is, right? We all always hear that a lot.
Mhm.
So I would use maybe an opinion poll as an example, right? So maybe they ask you for your opinion and you say you think Trump will win the election or whatever it is, right? But in a way, for us that captures something, right? But if you had to put your money on what you just said, I feel like we feel like when you put your money in something, it captures a truer conviction, right? Because your money's on it now, right? For whatever reason, maybe you truly believe in it or you believe you can make money for it. But let's stick to the belief side, right? So you put your money where your mouth is and what you believe is, and we figured out that that actually captures a truer conviction than just an opinion. So what
Yeah.
happens if you can capture the crowd conviction on a certain thing, right? It could be behavioral, it could be political, it could be even anything entirely, right? So in a way, if once people are putting their money in their conviction, you're capturing what we call raw data, raw intelligence, right?
Yes.
Again, it could be a market on a brand, a fashion brand, or whatever, right? That collective crowd intelligence can tell you where people are leaning into, right? Maybe a certain type of clothes, a certain type of shoes, or whatever, right? So even from a brand perspective, that gives you intelligence and say people are saying yes to this type of design, right? What does that tell us? What's coming, right? Again, if you're a
Yeah.
political analyst, you can see where people are leaning in, just like opinion polls. If it was football, you can see what people believe in, what teams are the favorites. But these are all gotten from pre-event trading, right? So that's what we mean by
Yes.
crowd conviction and intelligence. We're looking at the data layer for all of this. We're not just saying this is a prediction market. We're saying from this prediction markets, we're gathering data, we're gathering user behavior, we're gathering, crowd conviction and intelligence that we're measuring because these people are putting their money where their mouth is. And once money is involved, we know that we're measuring something truer than just opinion. So that's kind of where we're leaning towards in terms of Panta Intelligence. Our aim is to build the largest repo of crowd intelligence in the world. And when you now look back and see what we have and what we built, we're going to be a source of intelligence for different angles, governments, brands, people's research, individuals, whatever it is. Panta will be there for you.
Wow. Stay tuned for that. For anybody that
Yes.
is watching that is not following Panta, please follow them at Panta HQ. What an interesting time to actually have a product or a platform such as yours. I think is it's really a sign of the times, if you will. I look at what's happened around, and I don't know how long you've been in this space. How long have you been in crypto for?
For years now. Time goes
Yeah.
by, boy. Probably for the last maybe 5, 6 years thereabouts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for a minute,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So you came in with the whole NFT run, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, we had the NFT run, we had the ICO phase, we had
Meme coin
DeFi,
things.
which took everybody's money just from the fees alone, and yeah, that wasn't great. Then there was like the whole transition phase, obviously in that time, people coming from Ethereum and going to Solana because it's cheaper to trade there, and everybody was called the pause, and it was just like a lot going on, right? Where we are right now with prediction markets, I find that it's just so different, right? Like the
Mhm.
air is just, it's so different to what it used to be, right? Everybody was like in that hype mode. And I think more people are more focused right now. I think also looking at where we are with AI, maybe you can also attest to this. Um, when we speak of AI and how AI has been able to maybe uplift your platform and obviously your offering. Give us a little bit more about that. I mean, obviously you do have devs, but um, how important has AI been in building this platform?
Oh, first of all, to talk about the phases where we've gone through in crypto from
Yeah,
NFTs to meme coins and all
yeah,
that, just to tie into that, I feel like
yeah,
prediction markets are we're the in thing right now. If I can put it, this is the phase. This is the, and it's also still the start. It's the blue ocean for prediction markets. We're discovering ourselves, but I feel like it's the start of something big, and we're happy at Panta to be part of this, and all of that. So there's that. In terms of AI, AI is a tool. Let's put it that way, across different industries, right? Not just prediction markets. As long as you're building something, you're doing something, it could be a tool to help you. And for us, we've embraced that, as a tool to help us. Again, but it's not the be and all, right? We have fantastic devs. I feel like they're the best devs at
Yeah.
Panta, right? Yeah, to be honest,
Yeah.
they're so super amazing. But for me, it's more about the brain and the quote unquote intelligence of the people, the team at Panta, right? AI just helps us to get where we want to get to, but what
Yeah.
really works for us is the quality of our thinking, our thought process, how we can marry the past and look towards the future, how we can strategize, how we can come up with systems, right? Trading systems, payout systems, liquidity build systems, how we can tap into people, and distribute our product better, right? These things are not
Yeah.
AI; they're from human beings that are very, very smart. So we just use AI to help us to get where we want to get to.
Very interesting. And when you look at the addition of AI in your business, have you found that it's made things so much more simpler instead of having a plethora of devs who you're paying obviously for their time? Has this actually made it a little bit more easier? Because obviously a lot of people have been vibe coding, right? So just by being able to vibe code, you're also able to, and if you obviously if you've been doing it for quite some time, you will be able to pick up a lot of nuances, let's say, within the dev space, if that makes sense. Have
Yeah.
you found that that's been maybe a little bit more interesting for you? I'm not sure if you are technical, but yeah.
I can be on both sides, but not super technical. But yeah, so with AI, right? Vibe coding. There's that whole ish about, you can vibe code this, right? At the beginning, it was like, wow, this is amazing. You can just do this and
Yeah.
spit out your code like real fast or whatever. Something that could take you days to like hand code.
Yes.
But over time, and if you're an experienced dev, you start looking like this might not actually be 100% positive, right? You can
Yeah.
vibe code and you have to go back and start making a lot of changes, right? You can vibe code and it messes up your environment. You can do stuff and it's like, oops, there's this, there's that. And you're now spending more time correcting what you should not be correcting if you had done it yourself. So for us, we kind of recognize that, and we don't want to waste time, quote unquote, going back and saying, oh, there's too many lines that doesn't fit what we want, let's change this, the AI is done. So we know how we use our AI for specific things, not like, well, vibe coding the whole the whole repo just on AI stuff,
Yeah.
and no, 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 it's just a very, very good supplement to our amazing devs. So I think that's how AI should be used. Again, different strokes for different folks, but it should be as a very good tool to help you get where you want to get to, not to fully depend on it. That's my view on AI.
I fully agree. I think a lot of people depend on AI um to speak even, and I'm no I'm being dead serious. I am so against that. Like, be an individual. Like, don't let it take over your entire life. There was a tweet that I think it was like at the top of the week that I saw. There was a tweet of this guy who had mentioned that actually it was a woman. She was complaining. She said she broke up with this guy because everything he did for her was like through AI. So, like, for instance, planning their anniversary or something of the sort, like, dinner, a date night, or like just a thoughtful message just to say how are you doing? Are you fine? Like, I know that you had the cold or whatever it was. And she found out that he had literally had an agent working in the background doing
Wow.
all these things. And don't get me wrong, I know that there are men in the audience right now, or that will be listening to this and be like, that is a genius plan. For a man, it might be genius, but for a woman, it may not seem like
Terrible.
that. It may seem that she's being neglected, right? And then when I went into the tweet, obviously I laughed about it, but at the bottom there was a guy that actually said, "Oh, okay, so if the boyfriend was actually really rich, right? A wealthy guy who had a butler and he sent the butler to give you flowers, are you going to be are you going to have the same sort of attitude?" And she's like, "Yeah, but that's different." And he's like, "But how?" And it's like it can go on and on. Like AI should be there to really help you, but not in that respect, right?
Take over your
Like,
life. Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
you think that that's taking it a bit too far?
It's taking. I literally just watched Pretty Woman, Richard Gere and Julia
Yeah,
Roberts. It's one of my favorite
yeah,
movies of all time. It's amazing. I've watched it like 1,000 times. But
yeah,
towards the end of the movie, right? And remember, Richard Gere in this movie was a billionaire, quote unquote, right? Very rich guy.
yes,
But he was
yes,
going to go win Julia Roberts' heart, and he
yeah,
bought flowers, and he went in a
yes,
limo. He's climbed on top of the car and went up the
yeah,
staircase. So these things
yeah,
matter. He didn't send. He could have sent someone, right? But he went by himself with the flowers. So
yeah.
please, people, if you're listening, don't use AI for your romantic stuff. Put in the efforts.
Don't do it. If anything, let it remind you of certain things. Like,
Exactly.
reminders of, listen, send your girlfriend a text, or
Yep.
make sure that you buy flowers on your way home, or be that guy that just, I don't know, sends flowers just because it's Tuesday. I
Yep.
think that is the most romantic thing that you can do, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It
that's
is.
we're we're straying away from the actual thing, which is Panta. If anybody is here that's just joined us, please give us a like, a retweet. Um, I don't know, just send it to your friends. Make sure that friends know about what's happening with Panta. Such a great offering that you guys have come up with. I think it's great. It's obviously early days. As I understand, you only have like what is it on your X account? Less than 2,000 people that follow you, but obviously that's growing. I've seen your marketing efforts are pretty good, and
Thank you.
the team. It's still very early, and I think there's such a great space for this, and the fact that you guys have done this in this time where it's a bear market, I feel is it's great, because when the bull market does come, if it comes, we know that there's going to be a lot that people are going to be wanting to bet on, or to create
Yep.
markets on, rather. But such a great thing. What I did want to ask you is, can you give us a little bit of alpha in terms of Panta, and where you guys are going with the project?
Ooh. So there's quite a lot I can say about this, but also quite a lot that is still under wraps. We want it to be a surprise
Yeah,
where we're going, but let's just say there's gonna be a lot more options on Panther, right? It could be perps, knock on wood. It could be multi-option markets where instead of just a binary yes and no on two options, you have many more options within one market. It could be a lot
yeah,
of things, right? But yeah, so we
yeah.
have a roadmap for this year and next year, and for sure, we're gonna be having a lot more interesting things on Panta. I just don't want to let the cat out of the bag right now.
No,
Yeah.
no, I respect that. I respect that, and I think it's such a great project. You guys really do need to nurture it, and obviously release things at the right time. Timing is very important. Um, I do want to ask you, and like, let's stray away a little bit and look at the ecosystem as a whole. Um, of late, we have seen quite a few projects that have been, let's say, that have had to shut their doors. I recently just learned of an NFT project where the founder had basically said he's not prepared to go any further, and obviously very well known in the space. For those of you who don't know, but Kais has been looking at leaving OK Bears.
Mhm.
When we look at things like that, you as a founder, um, how important is it to know that you are not the business, and that you are separate from the business? Is that an easy task?
It's not easy. And first thing I would say, my heart always goes out to founders and projects that have to sunset. Like, it's never easy. Like, building a project or a business is one of the most difficult things to do. So my heart always goes out to those people, but it's not for want of trying, right? A lot of times it's different factors that you don't have control over. It could be it's just a bear market. It could be macroeconomic factors. It could be anything, right? Um,
Yeah,
but it's important to separate that from yourself, right? If this is your question, there's the business
yeah,
and then there's you. But a lot of times it's hard because if you're a founder, you know that you're literally one with your business, especially
yeah,
in the beginning times, right? But
yeah,
you have to, and personally I try to always separate it, right? Like, there's the business and then there's me, because it's very easy to get sunk into that and then you lose your life, and then
yeah,
everything is just in this business, and then anything can go wrong in a business, right? Again, it's not even your fault. But for me, it's
yeah,
like I try to separate that. I always carve out time for like this work-life balance, right? Yesterday I play football a lot, by the way, but I have a stand-in time. I play football every Wednesday for 2 hours, and I play on the
yeah,
weekends also. I don't care if maybe you want to offer me $100 million. I'm gonna go play my football. So I have certain boundaries in that way where I'm
yeah,
separating myself and the things I want to do versus Panther. Right? Panther is very dear to me, very important. But I feel like um, founders, a lot of people get like sucked into that. But it's very important to suck out yourself. You can use that term. Have your own personality, your own life, and let the
yeah.
business do what it's meant to be. Yeah.
I think that's so important. A lot of people who are founders, and I think it's also very difficult for founders to separate themselves from their project, right? Um,
Yep.
a lot of founders would maybe scoff at other founders who feel, let's say new founders, who feel that they can have a life that's separate. And I think that when you actually take a step back, analyze your life and the people around you, and you analyze your business, by you being able to merge them in such a way that they can coexist, they just need to, it's kind of like a give and take, right?
Yep.
I think it's very important. It's a very fine line between you being obsessed about your business and you sort of like feeling that your business can't live without you, type of thing. I don't know if I'm
Yep.
making sense,
Yeah, you are.
but
You are. Just to add to that, while you're there, I absolutely have to mention that it also helps when you have a great team, right? I mentioned
yeah,
I can just step away for 2 hours or whatever it is, right, to go do stuff. But I trust in my team that whatever comes up, they'll handle it, right? And I know they're capable. I know they're intelligent. They're smart. They've proven themselves over and over again. So that actually does help. So one of the most important things, I wouldn't say it's 100% the skill because it could be luck, but finding the right people on your team goes a long way, from all angles, especially in this particular context right now. So, but yeah, we're blessed at Panther with that, so it's a good thing.
100%. I heard somewhere that actually hiring well is possibly the best thing that you can do in your
It is.
business.
It
It it,
is.
it really is. It's also quite, your second in charge. Let's just say, I'm not sure if you do have a second in charge right now, but having a second in charge, you really want people of that nature to be a go-getter, right? Because the people that you get on also need to have that type of energy. When we look at other businesses, let's say other projects that are in the ecosystem, we recently just mentioned a few that have closed their doors. Um, how important is it as a founder to keep your, firstly, your community motivated, but the people that work around you, your team?
It's super important. Like, first of all, again, back to even the hiring process, right? We're very deliberate about it, and even from the start with my co-founder, we defined what we wanted from people, the type of culture we want at Panther, right? And then I've always thought that and it's important to be deliberate about it, right? So we have a certain culture, a certain fit, certain vibes and Panta that we look out for. But and
Yeah,
then being self motivated is a huge part of that. So we look out for that. And again, thankfully, it's not just about skill of hiring; it's also luck, right? You can be the most skillful hire and you don't get the right people. Thankfully,
that's
we
true.
got the right people, right? But it's important for our team members to be very, very self motivated. And I don't even have to do too much, to be honest. Like I see it with them every day, but it's a big part of what we've done so far in this stage of our products.
Kudos to you, and what a great platform this is for anybody who has not visited Panta Markets. Please go to panta.markets. We will actually just show it right here. Don't hesitate but to go onto that link. Make sure that you are following them on X. And you know what? Get into their DMs and ask them the most random things. Like, stress test the intern. I think that's the best thing that you can do, right?
Yes, the famous intern is actually pretty famous on Twitter. He's a very amazing. I don't even say he was a guy or a girl, but amazing person, by the way. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. I did want to touch on you speaking a little bit about Super Team Nigeria. Um, I think it was last year when we had Apex in South Africa. It was really great. I got to speak to some of the guys from Super Team Nigeria, and man, they are fueled up, fired up. Are you part of Super Team Nigeria?
So I think I lost you for a second. It might be me, but can you say that again?
Oh, I was asking if you're part of Super Team Nigeria.
Oh, so first of all, shout out to super teams all over the world, but specifically
Yeah,
Super Team Nigeria right now is like they're so amazing, amazing people, right? Again, we just had
yeah,
the conference in Uyo last
yeah,
weekend, and I was
yeah.
there. First time I've been in Uyo, so it was an amazing experience. But we are in a very strong partnership and relationship with Super Team Nigeria. They're
Yeah.
again amazing people. They embody what Solana is, right? Even the wider Solana community, they will go to war for you, right? And meeting them and getting to work with them and getting them embrace Panta has been one of the best things we've done. So I'm sure, like you said, when you met them, you certainly feel the same vibes. We feel that at Panta. So I would say Panta and Super Team Nigeria, we are. If you could see my hands right now, you see me making the interlocking interlocking gesture, right? So
Yeah.
amazing people, amazing people. Yeah.
No, they definitely are. Very warm. I think also really eager to get projects off the ground and to bring out the next thing. And that's why I
Yes.
asked if you're part of them, because they really are a really great group of people. Shout out to super teams all over the world. As you know, there are quite a few, and really doing good work. For anybody that does not know, it's kind of like a secret community where people from that specific country uh, basically build things to take over the world. No, I'm just joking. And, uh,
That's the right
not
thing to say, to be honest.
somewhat. But
Yeah.
you know what? I think it's a great time to maybe ask you this. What do you think the future of prediction markets are going to be on blockchain?
That's a very good question. The future of prediction markets, I think we're gonna see a lot more, probably. Again, because it's still a very blue ocean space, right? Pool market and Kalshi,
Yeah.
they've shown us the way. They've gone very, very big, and now you have another different layer of prediction markets springing up, like just like us, right? So you're gonna see a lot more, but at some point. We're gonna see clusters, right? Maybe quite a few of them join together to be a semi-big one or a big one. That's one. Two, we're gonna see a lot more focus on AI assisted capabilities in these markets, right? Again, for us, we're using
Yeah.
it for resolution, but there are other ways where AI can be of use in prediction markets. We might pioneer a few very soon. So, but yeah, AI is going to be very prominent. We're going to see clusters of more prediction markets, and we're going to see prediction markets start penetrating traditional sports betting industries. I see that possibly happening because sports betting has been there for years, and prediction
Yes.
markets are kind of like more recent, but a lot more
Yes.
people now are getting kind of like used to or exposed to what prediction markets are. It's a different thing,
Yes. Yes.
but people are now getting the vibe of this. I see it getting a lot bigger, and with Panta obviously penetrating a lot more localized communities in different countries. So the future holds quite a lot of promise for us.
It definitely does. And there've been quite a few comments, some of which I do not like, especially from who's that? Chuck's Doe. Let's stick to Bruno. No, we were gonna go with Bucharest. Okay? No. That is a no from me.
That's a good
But
one. That's a
yeah,
good comment.
everybody else, you're great. Just not that guy.
Bruno Fernandez. That's the best player in the Premier League, by the way. So yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. He just had some luck. Let's just say.
Nah.
Um,
Okay.
no, but you know what? What a great conversation this has been, and I think also to find from your side as a founder who has got um, so much enthusiasm and has got a long sort of list of things that they want to incorporate within their project. I think is it's really great. I think the world is your oyster right now. It's just the beginning of something great.
Yep.
The one thing that I want you to pledge, number one, is that when you do take over like Kalshi and Bidenhouse or whatever it is, come back onto the show and say that you got your inspiration here on Radiant AF.
I'll say that. Pinky promise.
And then just the other thing, because a lot of people that are here would probably be like, why are you not showing your face? Obviously, you aren't doxxed at the moment. Um, I'm not going to ask why. What I am going to ask is, when you finally reveal yourself, will you do it here on RadiantsAF?
Ooh, now that's a tempting thing to commit to. I probably would consider that. It'd probably be a nice way
Yeah.
to just show my. Although, if I'm gonna be honest, this is not the first show asking me to do that, so I might like create a market on Panther for this.
Oh, we don't
Which
care.
one?
No, we don't care about the other shows because this is the best one.
Yeah, this
They
is the
just
best.
don't
This is
know
the
that,
best.
right? So
This is the best. Yeah, but for sure. I wouldn't mind like the next time I'm here, maybe showing my face. So, yeah, you never know. We'll find out.
no pressure. But yeah, maybe we can create a market for that. I think that'll be great.
Yes, that's the perfect market right there.
Fantastic. Well, what we like to do on the show is we like to ask our guest to please pay it forward and let us know who they would like for us to have on the show.
So just to get this straight, you want me to say who you should get on the show next?
Yes, preferably somebody that you know by word of referral.
That's interesting. I would love to say the maybe the Super Team Nigeria lead. Have you met
Okay.
him? Have you met him before?
Who? Zubi.
Nzube. Yeah. You know
You know
Zubi.
what? I when it's kind of funny because I wanted to go and speak to him, and every time I wanted to, there was somebody that was like, sort of like grabbing him, and I'm like, this guy is super famous. Like, actually,
Yeah.
you don't even know this, but he's more famous than what's the other guy's name? Obi. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, no,
I
Zubi
didn't
is
know that.
famous.
I was like, yeah, everybody just wanted his attention. I was like, okay. But yes, okay. Nzubi, you know where you're coming to next. You're going to be on Radiance AF, whether you like it or not, because Agos said so. That I'm
Yeah,
just leaving it there.
I'll tell him to. I have a word with him so he comes over and does his thing on here. But he's an amazing guy, so I'm sure that'll be a fantastic conversation.
That will be amazing. And you know what? I'm actually excited for that because learning about where Super Team Nigeria is and what they've been doing. A lot of people that do listen to the stream, or on Spotify, wherever you're listening to this, um, I think a lot of people don't actually understand what really is happening in Africa because a lot of the spotlight is in America and in Europe and in Asia. Asia has got a very big team, but here I don't think people actually know the amount of momentum that's going on in Africa, and it's going to be really great to shine a spotlight on that. So, Zubi,
Yep.
looking forward to it. Hagos, thank you so much for making the time to come onto the stream today. What an amazing time it has been. The next one that we do have with you, um, I think what we should do before the stream that we do on the next one, I'm already preempting this. We should actually do two creative markets, right? That by the end of the show, something will happen. What do you think?
Yeah, we should actually. Maybe by the end of the show, I would have like shown my face or something like that. Or
Okay.
if it's a live game or whatever, we can say
Yeah.
in 90 minutes, Bruno Fernandez would have scored Arsenal. So yeah, we can do
You know what? You know what?
that.
I like that one. I like that one. Should we do that?
Yeah, we can do that. We'll plan for that. Maybe the United versus Arsenal game this season. We can set up a time, and
Okay.
I'll hop on here.
That'll be perfect. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited right now.
Me
I,
too.
I, I can't cope. But thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much for joining us. Thank you for the insight that you've given us. And for anybody that is here that is not following Panta Markets, please do go on to X and get them at Panta HQ. We'll be seeing you on the next one, hopefully within Zubi. But yeah, we'll
you.
wait for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
having me. A pleasure,
And yeah,
pleasure.
we will definitely be seeing you on the next one.
For sure, for sure. Have a good rest of your day and talk to you next
Same,
time.
same to you. Take it easy.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.